So today, I texted you because I think somebody put it in my Discord. And I had already put in my Discord when I'm collecting tabs for Crimeland, I put like a placeholder so I know where to start to pull tabs again. And I had already done the placeholder because I pulled all the tabs for this show yesterday, which is very unusual for me to be ahead of the schedule.
You were in a great mood yesterday, too.
I was in a great mood. So I had the show all set up. I had the thumbnail made. I had everything ready to go. And then they arrested somebody in the Tupac case. So we're going to get into that now. Okay. Number 2. Where were you when you found out that Tupac died? We were probably together.
This was 27 years ago.
It was 1996. It was September of 1996. And I think that I was in Scott's basement.
I'm sure.
I think
I was probably passed out in a pool of beer on the floor in Scott's basement.
Probably. Yeah. That place was disgusting. Like, let's not go into too many details. But
it's so bad.
We had a friend named Scott when we were younger, and his mom had a house and did not give a crap about anything. I don't understand. Could you imagine what happened in that basement happened? Yeah. So Scott had a band, and there was like all the music equipment set up down there, and like couches that we found in alleys that we just bring to this house. It was a mess. It was it was loud.
Terrible.
I don't know how his mom lived upstairs. It was loud all the time. It smelled horrible.
Yeah, like stale beer and pee.
Yeah.
And cigarettes.
And vomit.
And vomit and garbage.
Like not just cigarette smoke, like lots of smoke.
Smoke
from all around.
In general, smoke.
So, I'm pretty sure we were in Scott's basement, and we found out that Tupac had been shot, and he ended up dying a few days later. So let me get into the story, and then I actually did a little mini, this is going to be a mini overruled episode. By the way, if you're new to this channel, I stream every 4:30.
Every 4:30?
Every Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, and I cover well-known and not so well-known true crime cases. And so this is just like a mini episode of that. So Tupac, this happened on September 9th, 1996. And then just stop me if you want to jump in anytime. I'm just going to go through some of these things. Okay. At the MGM Grand Casino in Las Vegas. And what was happening that night is Mike Tyson was fighting a guy that I have never heard of until today when I was researching it, named Bruce Seldon. Let me know in the chat if you've ever heard of Bruce Seldon, a boxer.
Never.
Apparently. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even remember hearing it back then.
I don't either. I don't think anybody cared, but today apparently I cared because I found out that this is one of the quickest heavyweight fights, lasting less than 2 minutes into the first round. And Seldon went down so fast that everyone speculated that the fight was fixed. So I'm just giving this background to give you the, these heavyweight fights in Vegas costs a lot of money to go to. And you're amped for it. You're going to see Mike Tyson fight. And it ends in less than 2 minutes and it's over. And everyone was a little pissed. Like it just,
I could imagine.
The entire crowd was a little peeved. So everyone's leaving. Tupac is there with Suge Knight, who's a piece of crap, by the way. We'll get into him later. And they have some bodyguards with them. And as they're leaving, they get into this little altercation with this other group of people. So let me pull that up. And we'll show you this security footage. This is from that night. And there's no sound on this. It's just the CCTV footage from the MGM Grand. This is everyone like leaving the fight. And you'll see on this side of the screen, there it goes. starts popping off in the lobby of the MGM Grand. And the main people that this was between was Tupac and this guy named Orlando Anderson. Now, Orlando Anderson, great guy. That was sarcasm. He was a member of the Compton-based gang called the Southside Crips. Tupac and Suge then left, like the security guards, like the mall police or casino police, come in, break up the fight, and everybody goes their separate ways. I didn't realize there was this many people, but yeah, so lots of people witnessed this altercation in the MGM Grand. And
can you pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
I have an unrelated, kind of related thing that popped into my head. So yesterday, you guys don't know this, but I'm telling you, I was at the hospital because my mom had surgery, and that fight that was on that video took place in the lobby. Something very similar. As I was walking around, family members were kicking the out of each other, and
in the lobby of a hospital.
Yes, there were so many cops. and then before you knew it, it was done, gone. Everybody's gone.
If you could please find a news article about that or something and get it in for the next show, I would appreciate that. This is the kind of content we're looking for over here at Friday Night Crime.
I was standing there, and like one of the hospital workers there was standing there, and she was this black lady, and I was like, what is going on? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I got time. I wish I knew. I would have pulled out my phone. And she's like, I know, me too. And she's calling her friends over. And then everybody dispersed. So that's it. That's all I know.
On the ground reporting from number 2.
Okay, now we can
all right,
go
so
forward with Tupac.
Orlando Anderson was a member of the Compton-based gang called the Southside Crips. Tupac and Suge left in Suge's Cadillac. Suge was driving. Tupac was riding a shotgun, pun intended. The bodyguards that were with them were in a separate vehicle, like following behind them. So while they were, they left the casino and they ended up like circling the block. They had to like go around to get back to where like they were going. And let me pull up, you know how I like my maps.
You like your maps.
I do like my maps. So, all right. The MGM Grand is over here, and they had to go around and then come back up this way. So they're at the street corner here. When I was looking up this map today, I saw on this map something called the Tupac Memorial. So I decided to click on it because I like maps, and on Google Maps, you can click on something and it'll show you pictures. So I'm like, oh, I wonder what this Tupac Memorial looks like. Do you want to take a guess? You're never going to guess. This is the Tupac Memorial. That's it. That's a telephone pole with graffiti on it.
What? I was looking at, I'm like, is that?
Yes, that is a telephone pole. Look at the.
Oh, man.
Lots of pictures of it.
I hope when I die, somebody graffitis a telephone pole for me.
It's not even like nice graffiti. It's not. It's like like people tagged it. It's not like
man.
You know how some graffiti they do like beautiful works of art on the side. This is not that. This is just.
Are there shoes hanging on the wires up there?
No, that's a light. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the stoplight. Yeah. So this is just the telephone pole outside or on the street corner of the corner where so people like put flowers down here apparently sometimes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And this is the pole that it's on, so it's just like wires, there's lots of pictures of people just posing with this pole that has graffiti on it, which is fun stuff.
They make the pilgrimage to the pole.
They do. They make the pilgrimage there to this this street pole. That was totally off subject, but when I saw that earlier today, I thought it was hilarious and I needed to share that with all of you. All right, back to the story. They okay, so Suge is driving this black Cadillac and Tupac's riding shotgun. All right. And they're trying to get back to, go wherever they're going. I don't know where they're going. Probably back to a different hotel to sleep. Oh no, I do know where they're going. Duh. They were going to there was like an after party for this boxing match that only lasted 2 minutes that they were on their way to. So they get stopped at this red light and on the corner of Flamingo Road and Covell Lane, and a white Cadillac pulls up on the passenger side of the black Cadillac that Tupac was in. The back window rolls down, the back driver's side window rolls down, and 6 shots were fired. Tupac was hit 4 times. Suge was grazed with a bullet fragment, which means it went like through Tupac and then grazed his head. So he was fine. Like he did an interview like a week later or whatever. He probably got like 1 stitch and then was like, you're done, go. The first officer who got there was a guy named Chris Carroll, and Sergeant Carroll was a bike cop at the time, like just a patrol officer. When he retired, he was a sergeant. So at the time, he was just like a beat cop on a bicycle, like near the Las Vegas Strip. And so he's the first to arrive when the call was like shots fired in. He got there, opened up the passenger side door. Tupac falls onto the ground outside of the car, and he asks, Sergeant Carroll says to Tupac, "Who shot you?" Tupac is struggling to catch his breath. He takes a deep breath in as if he's about to say who shot him, and instead he looks Officer Carroll straight in the eye and says, "F you," except he said the real word. So he ain't no snitch. Also, he immediately fell into a coma after that. So those were his last words.
Yeah.
So a few days later, September 13th, Tupac dies at the hospital at the age of 25. No one was arrested until today. So there's where we're at. Today, somebody got arrested for this crime. And let's get to that.
Hi, Aimless Gamer.
Hey, Dan.
Good to see ya.
It's always good to see. I love it when Dan rolls in.
Now investigators of Valley Homes searched in connection to the Tupac Shakur murder.
This was a news article from 2 months ago that I had missed, but when I was doing my research, this is from Las Vegas 2 months ago. Also, look at the temperature on the screen, 109 degrees in Las Vegas on that day. Who lives like that?
Murder investigation nearly 27 years after his death. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Metro Police confirming they searched a home as part of their ongoing work to solve who killed the rapper and hip-hop icon. 8 News Now investigator David Charnes breaking this story. David, what are you learning tonight?
Right, Denise, sources telling the 8 News Now investigators this search involves Dwayne Davis, also known as Keith D. Davis speaking publicly about the night
Keith D. Keith.
Tupac died in videos on YouTube and in a book. It's a murder that shocked the world of music. 25-year-old Tupac Shakur shot 4 times inside this BMW in this intersection near the Las Vegas Strip.
I thought it was a Cadillac. Apparently it was a BMW. I totally lied at that last segment. I thought it was 2 Cadillacs. It was a BMW and a Cadillac.
In September 1996.
Okay. We all make mistakes.
I'm fake news. I am fake news.
He would die from his injuries 6 days later. 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy speaking exclusively with paramedics in 2016.
We brought the gurney up
over,
just pulled them out.
pulled them out, and that's when, everybody was yelling, Tupac, Tupac.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just because he's a firefighter, but this guy reminds me of your brother so much. This one.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I haven't seen your brother in like 20 years, though.
I mean, I guess I can see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it a little
Tupac.
Over the last 27 years, Metro Police have made no arrests, suspecting a rival gang targeted the rapper after a Mike Tyson fight. Someone in another car shot Shakur. The question, after all these years remaining...
Did you see that cell phone he had?
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
these years remaining, who was it? Sources telling the 8 News Now investigators Tuesday the warrant served at a home in Henderson Monday involves 60-year-old Dwayne Davis, also known as Keith D. He's made several public statements about a possible shooter. Sources say detectives may have been looking for writings or documents connected to a book Davis recently published. People at the home declined to comment Tuesday, warning things could escalate should we stay outside or record them.
Right now, nobody is in custody, and a quarter-century later, police have never filed charges in this case, a case Metro says it is determined to solve. I'm David Charnes, 8 News Now.
Thanks, David Charnes. So remember, that was 2 months ago. So they got the search warrant. They knew this guy was writing a memoir. Now, remember Meatball from a previous segment who recorded herself looting stores?
How can I forget?
Arrested? Yeah. So this guy, instead of recording himself, it was 1996, so people didn't have their cell phone cameras. He decided to wait 30 years and then write about it, which is genius, by the way. Just genius. So today, I want to say it was like right around lunchtime when I found out that somebody was arrested in this case. And
I can tell you.
Oh, because I texted you almost immediately. I'm like, we got to change up the show.
111.
111. We got to change it all up. So this happened today.
Some bombshell breaking news that just came into the newsroom. Police in Las Vegas just announced they've made an arrest into the murder of legendary rap artist Tupac Shakur. Shakur was murdered in a drive-by shooting in 1996. All this information is very fresh. We're still working to get more details on who was arrested. It does come months after investigators searched for a man named Dwayne Keith Davis, who says he is one of the only surviving witnesses to the shooting.
Surviving witness, he says.
Did he say the only surviving witness? Okay, so there were 10 cars of people, and he's the only surviving witness.
He's saying the only one that there's 3 or 4 people in the car that fired the shots. And you could go ahead. You read me the story earlier today because I had to drive across town. But I'll go. This guy was in the passenger seat of this car, and he had the gun that killed Tupac, and he passed the gun to the back seat to the person who actually fired the shot. So witness is a little bit by witness he means like accessory to murder is what he means. Actually, a gun that I don't think it was his gun, but it was a gun that he obtained and was holding. He passed it to the back seat. They rolled down the window, shot Tupac, grazed Suge Knight, and then 30 years later, he wrote a book about it.
Why would you do that? If you're going to write a book about it, wouldn't you after your death?
Yes, exactly.
Not smart. Here's
the issue is then if you wait till after you're dead, you don't get any of the money from that. Only your children get the money from that. So what good is that going to do you? You're not going to support your kids, are you?
Well, I'd rather not be in jail.
Well, he's going to be in jail. So
crazy.
Let me pull up. I have a couple of more things ready to go about this case that I found. And this is an interview with Suge Knight that happened a week after the incident that I found today and I thought was interesting. So let's watch it.
Last Friday the 13th, after being gunned down in a drive-by following the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon boxing match September 7th. Meanwhile, on Thursday night in Los Angeles, we spoke with Marion Suge Knight, head of Tupac's label, Death Row Records, and the man who was driving the car, sitting right next to Tupac when he was shot. Knight, who himself was grazed in the head by a bullet, was prevented.
Did you know that his real name was Marion?
Mm-hmm. I did.
I did not. That's funny.
That's why he doesn't go by Marion.
The shooting itself. But here, for the first time on television, he speaks publicly about its aftermath.
How are you feeling and how are you doing physically?
I feel like this. I feel that the last word is always God. But Pac saved my life. The reason why I say Pac saved my life, I got shot in the head, got grazed some other places.
He did not get shot in the head. A bullet went through Pac and like
Yeah.
nicked his scalp a little bit is what happened.
When you get shot in the head, that's not a graze.
Not the same thing.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm not sorry.
But I still got the bullet in my head. It's still there.
Really?
But for as trying to get him to the hospital,
Really?
didn't make me realize that I was shot. Because usually
It was
when
a
you get shot in the head,
fragment.
the first thing the person do is panic.
It was a fragment. It wasn't. He doesn't have a bullet in his head.
He's
You know,
got
man,
like
I'm
a
shot in
tiny
the head,
piece
I'm about to
of.
die. You know. And once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing was, Pac, he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm gonna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm gonna get to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find our way to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head. Your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed.
I hate this guy so much.
I'm like, man, shut up. I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
I know.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital.
Dirty.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious
The
after
ambulance.
they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They loved me. We was in the, we was going in the, we was on the thing that was getting there. I like, Pac, we the last one left. When we talking, this is how we talking. He said, homie, I'm straight. I love you, homie. I'm gonna be straight. I love you too. Woo, woo. That's what it was.
There was a report earlier this
He said, "I love you, woo woo." Woo woo.
week in the New York Post that Tupac was looking to leave Death Row Records. Is that true?
You should answer that. You don't take a person like Tupac who, if you listen to every song on All Eyes on Me, every song on Machiavelli, every time he do an interview, what's the first thing he say? Death Row. Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me, I loved him. I mean, Tupac took Death Row to the next level. I mean, we worked hard and we laid the foundation down, and Snoop took the baton, he ran with it, and he did a great job with it. When Tupac got the baton, not only did he win the race, he finished so fast he was able to sit back and drink some Thug Passion and come up with another plan.
Thug Passion?
He died at 25. What are you talking about, dude? Like, I
That's
mean,
a kid.
This is a week after it happened, and he apparently has a bullet in his head and whatever. But you know, I will give him a little leeway because it's his friend, you know.
For person,
but he died at 25.
That question,
he's not running a race.
Was he planning on leaving Death Row? No. He definitely would cuss you out.
A lot of people in the hip-hop community have said that this incident will change hip-hop. This is a really landmark event, tragic event at that, and that the music will probably never be the same. Do you see the direction of Death Row changing? Is there going to be a different type of music put out?
Not at all. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing and sell records. Like I said before, my main goal is fulfill Tupac's dreams. And Tupac would definitely never want the music to change, or the style. So we're going to keep it the way he would like it.
All right. Yeah, we're stopping that because of copyright. So yeah, that happened right here. And just one more time, the Tupac Memorial in Las Vegas is a street pole. It's very interesting. I highly suggest if you live near Las Vegas or if you are visiting there. I know a lot of people vacation. Have you ever been to Las Vegas, number 2?
I've been there, yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
Not for any period of time, but I was, for a day.
Yeah.
A day.
If I ever go back, I'm definitely recreating this picture for sure. That's happening. And now we have a little bit of a news conference where it's a 16-minute news conference. I clipped out a part that I'd like to show. because I don't have 16 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I got asthma.
Could you just look real quick at these very hungry looking dogs here?
Oh, look at them. They want some treats, guys.
All right, here we go. This is the news conference that happened a little bit earlier today.
Tupac and Suge Knight both left the MGM to make their way to a post-fight party, which was to occur at a local nightclub. At the same time, word had spread amongst members of the Southside Compton Crips of what had occurred inside the MGM. And then that's when Dwayne Davis began to devise a plan to obtain a firearm and retaliate against Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur for what occurred inside the hotel against Mr. Anderson. After Davis obtained a gun, he entered into a white Cadillac along with Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. Based on our investigation, this is where we know they were seated. At some point in time, as they were in the white Cadillac, Mr. Davis took the gun that he had obtained and provided it to the passengers in the rear seat of the vehicle. As they were driving west on Flamingo Road near Koval, they had located the black BMW, which was driven by Suge Knight, and in the passenger seat was Tupac Shakur. And as they turned around, they pulled up near the passenger side of that vehicle and immediately began shooting at Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur. Following that shooting, the white Cadillac fled the area southbound on Koval. And after our officers arrived on scene, Tupac was later transported to the University Medical Center, where he was treated medically and died approximately 6 days later on September 13th. My homicide section handled this investigation from its onset and for a short amount of time. And within a short amount of time, what we knew was that we were working a gang investigation where our victims, our witnesses, and our suspects were all from Southern California and not local.
The sad part is that if this was anybody else, they would have never solved this case, because it really was just gang violence.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're not going to go back into those cold cases.
Mm-mm.
It's sad, but it's really the reality of it.
Yeah.
Local to Las Vegas. Within the first few months of the investigation, our detectives knew most of the information I just briefed you on. However, we never had the necessary evidence to bring this case forward and present it for criminal charges.
Until somebody decided to write a book about it.
As time went on, this case had been reviewed multiple times by different investigators assigned to my section, but it wasn't until 2018 that this case was reinvigorated as additional information came to light related to this homicide. Specifically, Dwayne Davis's own admissions to his involvement in this homicide investigation that he provided to numerous different media outlets.
Criminals aren't smart.
No.
In our section, we knew at this time that this was likely our last time to take a run at this case to successfully solve this case and bring forth a criminal charge. It was at that time that this case was assigned to Cliff Mogg, a detective within my homicide section. And over the last 5 years, my section worked closely hand in hand with the Clark County District Attorney's Office and followed a systematic investigative plan over the last 5 years. We've conducted countless interviews and corroborated numerous facts that were not only consistent with the crime scene on the night of the incident, but also corroborated and were consistent with the sequence of events that night. This ultimately led to us procuring a search warrant, which was executed at Mr. Davis's residence in Henderson, Nevada. And following the execution of that search warrant, in close coordination with the District Attorney's Office, this case was presented to the grand jury, which ultimately led to Davis being indicted on charges of murder. Before I hand it off to the District Attorney's Office, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Detective Mogg and all the other detectives that were not only assigned this case and reviewed this case, but all the other detectives from other agencies that assisted us in this investigation.
Thank you to everybody who assisted. We appreciate it. So that's where we're going to end the coverage of Tupac. Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
I think we're going to keep watching this case just to find out. It's going to go to court. All that happened today is the grand jury indicted the guy. Hopefully we'll have those indictment papers released and we can read through exactly. I think the officer just now summed it up pretty well of what happened.
One thing I want to add about is I always find it interesting the things that they collect from search warrants.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna look at this super quick and
see exactly what was collected. And keep in mind, while you're looking that up, I'll let you guys know that search warrant was executed 2 months ago, and the grand jury just indicted today. So they've been collecting evidence. I mean, they've been really working in this cold case for quite a while. And like the guy said, it's been since 2018 they really started digging back into it.
Okay.
The Methodist Dave is saying he thinks he might have kept the gun. I doubt it. I bet it was what they would call these days a ghost gun, which apparently is just anything that they scrape the serial number off of.
Yeah.
Back in my day, a ghost gun was a 3D printed gun.
Okay, I'm getting close. Hang on.
You're not a great Googler.
I'm not. I mean, I have the article in front of me, but okay, police reported collecting multiple computers, a cell phone, and hard drive, a Vibe magazine that featured Shakira. Jeez. Several .40 caliber bullets, 2 tubs containing photographs, and a copy of Davis's memoir.
I think it was the memoir that did it for sure.
Yeah.